Hello there, welcome to another episode of Messy Magic. I'm your host, Nadee Guy, and I'm laughing because I've just hit record and already my voice is breaking a little bit. And I'm choosing not to re-record this episode, even though that little hiccup just happened in the first couple of seconds, because this podcast is all about celebrating mess and allowing mess to be there without always having to smooth it over. So there we go. We're embracing it. I am coming to you tonight, from my bed. I've just climbed into bed and I'm about to go to sleep, hopefully. But I've been wanting to do an episode for ages, and I kind of haven't really known what to talk about, or I have known what to talk about and then I just didn't have the moment to record. So there is something today that I wanted to share, and I don't think it'll be a particularly long episode, but I really just wanted to get back into your queue and say hi, I'm still here, and yes, the podcast still exists. And so what I wanted to share with you today is something that I also shared with my email subscribers. I send a semi-regular newsletter to my email list, which you can get onto. If you'd like to subscribe, you can just go to my website, and down the bottom of the page, of the front page, actually every page, in the footer of the website is an email form for you to fill out. You just put in your email address and hit subscribe, and you're on the list. My website is nadeeguy.co, but I'll put it in the show notes. And what I shared was that I've had a few occasions lately where I felt like I was coming up against resistance for something that I was either creating, proposing, excited about. And yeah, this has happened to me a few times lately where I've started down the road of something, a project, an activity, I don't know, a few different things. And I find myself feeling like it's not working, or it's not what I thought it was going to be, or it's not appreciated, or it's misunderstood, or I'm saying the wrong thing. That's a big one for me at the moment. I've really been playing with trying to express myself more, and I'm feeling often like I don't want to say something because I don't want to say the wrong thing. And I don't know if you can relate to this or not, but I also feel like, there's a lot going on in the world at the moment, and there's a lot of crappy stuff going on. And sometimes you need to say something and sometimes you don't. That's not what I'm going to talk about, though. This is about what it feels like to be given resistance, or to feel like you've said the wrong thing or you've done the wrong thing. And that exasperation, that feeling of which is what I have felt lately, of well, what's the bloody point? I'm trying my best, and each time I try this, and it's always it's a different, I'm not talking about the same project over and over. It's different things. I've just noticed this pattern, and maybe it's the perfectionist in me, maybe it's the inner child in me looking for love and affection. I'm not 100% sure, but when it's not perfect, or I feel like it's not the right thing, I end up feeling like I'm wrong, and, well, maybe I just won't say anything, or maybe I won't do anything. And I noticed this feeling yesterday come up for me, and I didn't like it because I don't want to give up on making a difference in the world in whatever way that is, in that particular moment or instance. I know I'm being very vague here, but you could apply it to different things. It might be a work project. It might be effort that you're making in a relationship. It could be like expressing yourself through social media post or a creative outlet that you've got. This could relate to so many different scenarios. And so my reaction was kind of like, well, what's the point? Like, why bother? And this kind of inner throwing my hands in the air. And then my quiet inner voice, and it's that inner whispering that is truth and wisdom, expressed something to me, and it wasn't in words, but it was something along the lines of, but what can we learn from this? How can we move forward? And over the past couple of years in particular, I've come to listen a lot more intently to that voice and to trust it. And I think trust is such a massive part of all of this. But I sensed this knowing, and so I sat with that for a minute, and what landed for me was this concept that is not new. It's not something that I haven't heard before, read before, experienced before, but it just landed differently. And it's the fact that when we try something or we express something and we're shown in some way that it's not right, and whether that means it's not good enough or it's misunderstood or I don't know. You know what I mean though, like it's not met with praise and acceptance and love from everyone around you or whoever it is that you're pitching it at. It's met with some form of resistance. It makes you feel like it's not right. Instead of just deciding that we've failed and stopping, it's actually a really beautiful and profound opportunity to learn a lesson and then continue moving forward, having learnt that lesson. Like adopting whatever feedback it is that you've received and moving forward. Or it could also be just an opportunity to further embed your resolve. Like if you get feedback about something that's not positive or is not 100% what you were expecting, doesn't mean that you were wrong. It might mean that you were, but either way, it's an opportunity to kind of stop and think about whether you're right or whether you might need to adjust something. I guess to give you some context and an actual example of where this happened to me, was I was writing up a piece of collateral. It was a flyer that I want to have printed and put into some local businesses for my coaching services. And I've really struggled with the wording for it because the work that I do is so experiential and it's not a service that is easy to understand. It's kind of something that is an energy, and that's a whole other discussion. But anyway, I've been really challenged with coming up with the words to explain what I do and how it can help. And I finally created something. It took me a couple of days, but I finally created something that I felt good about. And it was in Canva. I created it in Canva. And then completely unrelated, but the very next thing that I did was I closed that down and then I checked Instagram, opened Instagram on my phone. And the very first post that I saw was from, I think it was from a coach, but the post was all about using this particular language and saying that it was inappropriate for a coach, a healer, or a therapist to use this language. And wouldn't you know, it was exact wording that I had used in my flyer that I had just designed and was relatively happy with. And my immediate reaction was defensiveness, not defensiveness even, it was more like, it was that exasperation that I talked about. It was kind of like, well, shit, I've just finished writing this and designing it, and now someone's telling me that it's inappropriate, it's not good enough. And I've just felt like, okay, well, what am I supposed to believe? How am I supposed to know how to move forward? And that's when I realized that this is an opportunity for me to learn something and to actually go into detail and understand why the argument is that you shouldn't use this language. And this might actually empower me to become a better coach, like a more knowledgeable coach and someone who is more able to service my clients in a more kind of even nuanced kind of a way. So that's the example, and that's just one of a few examples I've had lately of where this has happened. But that's actually the specific one where I realised that it was an opportunity to move forward with a new lesson under my belt and to be a better, a better coach, a better writer, and just to think more deeply about things, which can get exhausting because I'm already a deep thinker. And I think that's one of the reasons I was a little bit frustrated, because I was like, oh, more thinking. But it's all good because it's all in service of my clients, which I'm all about. So my message is that if you feel like you are hitting a brick wall, or you feel like you take one step forward, 2 steps back, if you feel like you're trying your best and it's just not being met with the adoration that you would like to see, my message is to take a pause and receive the feedback and then digest it and process it and see where the lesson is for you, because it has to feel true to you. It might be feedback that you can integrate and use moving forward, or it might be feedback that you decide you disagree with and you're moving forward anyway, and that's fine too. But you've had this opportunity to think about it, to take that on board and to move forward. And when you do move forward, you're even more solid than you were before, because now you have this new information from outside of you, but you also have new information from inside around how you feel and think about this thing, which can only fill you up and make you even more authentic in the way that you come across in whatever it is that you're doing. So I hope all of this makes sense. I know a lot of it was a bit vague. I think with these kinds of messages that I want to transmit, it will either land with you and you'll be able to relate it to something that's going on in your life right now, or it won't make any sense and you'll be like, what the hell is she talking about? And that's fine. Move on. It's not a message for you today. Maybe the next one will be. I really believe that. So I hope it's been of service in some way. And I'm so, so, so excited to be back in your podcast queue. And may this be motivation for me to do the next episode. So hopefully I'll be back with you really soon. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can check out my handle, my profile. I'm tired. I'm going to bed. My handle is Nadee Guy. I changed it. It used to be Messy Magic, but now you'll find it is my name, which just felt better for me. And again, my website is nadeeguy.co. So I'll be talking to you again really soon, hopefully. And in the meantime, I hope you have a magical day.